Thanks for having me.
I suppose before we go, Six Nations.
Yeah.
Come on. Where are we going? What's the prediction?
I think Ireland are going to win it.
Outright?
I think it's going to be challenging because France look really good. But I actually think Ireland, they look like they're solving some of the issues that have been there. I think Dan Sheehan being back is absolutely massive. And I think even on first glimpse, watching him against England, he has the X factor that Ireland have been missing. And I'm not going to draw a line and say one player can make all the difference to Ireland, but he does do things that other people in his position in the world can't do. And I actually think that's just such a point of difference for Ireland. You look at the amount of tries he's scoring. He's now equaling like people like Harry Nordicky and Jamie Heaslip for the volume of tries that he's scoring. And that's how dynamic he is for Ireland. And I really think the longer he plays and the more he can give to Ireland, I actually think that's a game changer for us. I think it's really 50-50 between Ireland and France in terms of who has a better squad. And the fact that they're playing in Dublin, I just think adds something to Ireland, that they're getting to the position again where they're almost impossible to beat at home. And I think even a really, really good France team are going to find that hard. I can't see Ireland getting challenged anywhere else except for France. I think they'll beat Scotland, and I think the other games, Wales and Italy, like if one of them troubles them, we don't deserve to be winning it. But I think the fact that France have to come to Dublin, I think Ireland are going to win it.
And with the British and Irish Lions on the horizon, Caelan Darras nod to be captain.
Yeah, I actually think he's shown himself to be really a very open leader. You know, I don't know if he was necessarily the most obvious pick at this time last year. He was certainly somebody that was being talked about, but I think his growth trajectory as a leader in 6 months has been really apparent to see. I think he's spoken really well, but more, I think importantly, I think he's been better. I think he's actually improved as a player since he's become captain. And even you listen to Brian O'Driscoll talking about just being the captain and the extra load that it puts on a player. I think Caelan Darras seems to be wearing it really well. And there's, apart from maybe Maro Itoje, I don't know if there's another obvious captain choice there. So he's definitely going to be in the conversation. And if Ireland win a Six Nations, I think he's a shoo-in for it.
Yeah.
I think even if Ireland don't win, I think he's probably an obvious point for discussion. And I think Andy Farrell's relationship with Ireland, I'd be surprised if he doesn't go with an Irish captain, because I think it's going to be a largely Irish team based on what we're looking at. It might be like who from Wales is going to get in that starting team. I don't know. It might be a couple
There'll be legacy
of Scottish
players,
ones.
I think, potentially in the squad.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a largely Irish team.
I had Caelan on the podcast about 3 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And he had or 4 years ago now, he just finished coming back from his concussion challenges.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember, but
which he also spoke very openly about.
And his brother is a neuroscientist over in the States, but how he went and found and took the 6 months, ruled himself out of the British and Irish Lions, the last tour, and it's his approach, his psychological makeup is, I think, is the perfect balance. For what our Irish rugby needs, and potentially the British and Irish Lions.
And you know what's funny, right? The other most obvious Irish captain choice for me would actually be Jack Conan. But the problem is he's not a guaranteed starter because of Caelan.
Yeah.
But when Caelan ruled himself out of the Lions, Jack Conan started all three tests, and he was unbelievable. And only
he was a big impact as well.
And I thought he was exceptional the last day. And even just listening to him speaking after the game, he is such a brilliant leader. He's obviously captained Leinster. I think if Caelan Darras wasn't such a brilliant player in that position, Jack Conan would be a potential leader of Ireland and the Lions as well. I guess that's just the challenge of being from Ireland and Leinster.
But we're spoiled for choice at the moment, isn't it? Which is amazing.